Alright, welcome back. Another pick video for you guys. This is for March 8th, 2022. Had a pretty good night last night. News broke pretty late that LeBron was going to be out, so that kind of switched things up for me last minute, but I was able to rebound pretty well. Hope you guys are able to rebound as well and pivot on the right guys and had a good night as well. Again, before we get into it, if you guys like this video, find it helpful in any way, go ahead and drop me down a like down below. Subscribe to the channel so I can keep pumping these videos out for you guys, and it helps me a lot and keeps me going. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into this video. My first guy here, I have Chris Middleton. If you guys have been following the videos for a while, I've been preaching small forwards versus OKC during this stretch that Lou Dort's been out. So this guy fits the bill, and he's certainly on the list. On top of that already, Chris Middleton's part of a healthy Vegas total. OKC versus Minnesota currently has the highest over-under on the slate at 231. Excuse me, second highest on the slate at 231, with Milwaukee currently leading the slate with the highest team total. Like I mentioned earlier, he's going against OKC with no Lou Dort, and we mentioned a couple days ago that this is a spot we're going to continue to target with Bojanovic in that video, and he certainly went off. During this, I believe it's 8 games now, maybe 10 games now, that Lou Dort's been out for OKC. Every small forward starter that has played at least 25 minutes versus them has gone over value. And like I mentioned earlier, Bojan a couple days ago scored 43.5 fantasy points versus this Milwaukee team. Another thing we want to note right now, currently I don't have any news on this, but certain to watch out for and to be aware of. Milwaukee's currently on the front end of a back-to-back. Playing OKC tonight. Tomorrow night they have a game against the Atlanta Hawks, which is a lot more important than this game, especially for playoff seeding purposes. And the game tomorrow night is probably not as much of a blowout as tonight is. So be on the lookout for these guys to maybe have a few guys resting, and if so, look for one of the Milwaukee starters to certainly benefit. If Giannis ends up being rolled out, I love Chris Middleton. Still love him without it, but I would especially love him then. Another guy, next guy on the list here, we have Cole Anthony. Going against the Suns team down CP3 and Devin Booker, as we all know. Most recently, Cam Johnson has been rolled out this past 2 games. He's one of the great scorers off the bench. That kind of leaves the Suns down their top 3 scoring options, which should project this game to be a lot closer than we would normally predict in the past. During the time that Cameron Payne's been starting with D-Book and CP3 out, he's been allowing some big games to some point guards. Most recently, Drew Holiday for 51 and Alec Burks for 40 points. So definitely a really good spot to attack point guards against Phoenix here. So that's a little bit of why I like Cole Anthony here. But what really puts him over the top for me is we currently have Jalen Suggs, the shooting guard for Orlando Magic, currently listed as a game time decision, but he most recently missed practice on Monday. So it looks like he's not really trending in the right direction for this game. And if he's out, Cole Anthony has had some big games with Jalen Suggs out. Been playing about 35 minutes a game with plenty of 40, 50-point outings. So definitely a nice ceiling for Cole Anthony to potentially hit a 50 spot here. Next guy on the list, we have Miles Bridges. Part of the game with the best Vegas total on the slate, Charlotte versus the Brooklyn Nets. That total currently sits at 239.5, so definitely some points going to be scored tonight in that game, and probably going to have a lot of fantasy goodness in that game. Miles has been pretty silent over his last couple games due to Terry Rozier kind of taking over for the Hornets and having a nice stretch of games. And that's resulted in Miles Bridges' price dropping down under 7K, which is criminally low for this guy. This guy is going to play probably, if this game stays close, maybe around 40 minutes and kind of just contribute in all stat categories: scoring, shooting, rebounding, assisting, and a little bit on the defensive end. And it's also a great matchup versus the Nets, as small forward against the Nets have been the best matchup over the last 15 games and over the past 5 games as well. And as we've seen most recently in this stretch, we saw Jason Tatum and Scotty Barnes both drop 60 on this team. So certainly a chance for Miles Bridges to kind of get somewhere close to that number tonight. Miles also comes to this game, great history versus the Nets. Over his last 2 games, he scored 52 and 55 against this Nets team. So definitely some great history and some great trends that could lead to a big night for Miles. Next guy we have on the list, Kevin Durant himself. He again is a part of that best over-under slate in the game. Currently sitting at 239.5. And Kevin Durant believes his 3rd game back. And during his last game out, he left little worry about him having any rust. having a great game out last time, dropping a near 60 bomb against the good Boston Celtics defense. Now he comes in tonight against the Charlotte Hornets defense, who's certainly nowhere near the Celtics defense, so it should be a little bit of easier time for him. I believe Kevin Durant's in a little bit of a similar situation to LeBron and the Lakers. Both two teams coming in with high expectations this season, title expectations. And over this past stretch of a month or so, these teams have been, been pretty embarrassed, losing a lot. And now they're down the stretch of the season fighting for a playoff spot. And again, similar to LeBron, I don't think KD's going to let his team miss the playoffs and not do what he can to try to get his team in the playoffs, not only for the team's sake, but also for his legacy's sake. So similar to LeBron, barring that Kevin Durant doesn't get ruled out last minute like LeBron did, I'll take a motivated Kevin Durant near 10,000 every time. And on top of all that motivation, this also presents a great matchup against the Hornets as well. Again, as they play at a very fast pace, play little defense. They're the second best matchup for power forwards. And again, most recently, letting a guy like Keldon Johnson have a field day against them. So if Keldon Johnson can go out there and have a great day, there's no reason why Kevin Durant shouldn't as well. And last guy on the list here, we have Evan Mobley. Last game out, Jared Allen, I believe, broke his finger. So that kind of, opens up a hole in the starting lineup. That should let Evan Mobley slide down to the center position, which I believe he did last game. And as we all know, ever since the departure of Sabonis and Miles Turner being out, Indiana has been attackable at the center position. They've had a couple lower end guys go up against them, so not really a lot of firework games against them, but they're indeed still attackable, letting guys like Mo Bamba hit overvalue against them consistently. And also with the slide to center, it opens up a little higher of a ceiling, a little higher of a floor for Evan Mobley here, as moving to center should allow him to boost his rebounding numbers. As we saw last game out, he had a near 20-20 game with 20 points and 17 rebounds. And if you go through Evan Mobley's game logs, whenever he's able to hit about 10-plus rebounds, he typically has a great game. So him coming out, having to boost those rebounding numbers against a poor Indiana team, should certainly be in store for a big game tonight. That's going to wrap it up. Again, if you guys like this video, found it helpful, go ahead and drop me down a like down below and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys again.